في الذين ينضموا للاستماع إلى راديو بلدي أول راديو عربي أمريكي ويعنى بقضايا الغرب في المهجر. برامجنا في راديو بلدي كل يوم جمعة من 8 وحتى 9 صباحا في بث حي ومباشر عبر WNZK راديو 690 AM. صباح الخير بلدي، صباح الخير لكل مستمعينا.
Welcome to Radio Baladi, the first Arab, Middle Eastern, and American simulcast radio show. Radio Baladi is broadcast every Friday morning on WNZK 690 AM from 8 until 9 Eastern Time on Good Morning Michigan. Our call-in number 248-557-3300. And now, stay tuned for the best radio talk show on Arab and American issues.
And good morning, everybody. This is Ray Hanania. It's April 14, Friday, and I am Ray Hanania here at Radio Baladi and WNZK AM 690 Radio. I host a program on the second Friday of every month, and soon I'll also be launching my weekly radio program right here at WNZK AM 690, sponsored by Arab News. That will be Wednesday evenings. Today, Friday, April 14th, we're going to take your calls at 248-557-3300, 248-557-3300. And we're going to talk about a subject that is often ignored, the Christians of the Middle East, Arab Christians, Chaldeans, even Assyrians, if there are any out there in Michigan. There's a big Assyrian population in Chicago. Today is Good Friday for the Orthodox. Last Sunday was the traditional Easter for many Christians, including Catholics and Protestants from the Middle East. But this Sunday is Easter for the Orthodox Christians. It also is toward the end of Ramadan. We're past the middle of the month, long celebration by Muslims. So Ramadan Kareem to the Muslims who are celebrating Ramadan. But we're going to look at the Christians who are often marginalized and ignored. We're told to simply identify as Arab and not to distinguish with others. But I think Christian Arabs and Middle East Christians need to strengthen their voices and make their concerns heard in a positive but strong way. The people who need to hear us the most are American Christians who play a major role in impacting the future of the Middle East and the Arab world. Call me and tell me how you feel about those issues, about how you celebrate Easter as a Middle East Christian, whether you're Arab and especially Chaldean. And I also want to find out how you feel about the census. There's a big push to identify MENA, Middle East and North Africa, on the census. Now, personally, I'm Arab and I'm Christian, as you know, but I don't like the term MENA because MENA includes Middle East and North Africa. Now, North Africa is already included in the census. Anybody who is from North Africa identifies as African and whatever race you are. You're already on the census. You're also already on the minority business enterprise systems that are set up in Michigan and that are being included in Illinois. But I especially like to hear about how you feel about that. And of course, if you're Chaldean, I want to know how you celebrate Easter. Do you celebrate it with the Orthodox? Do you celebrate it the traditional? I know a lot of people, because of as an Orthodox Christian myself, I know that my family pretty much celebrates during traditional Easter and Orthodox Easter. This month is April, and that is Arab American Heritage Month, as we know, but it is also, and I know you don't hear that often, Chaldean Heritage Month in Michigan, where there is a large Chaldean community. So please call up this morning at 248-557-3300. Tell me about, especially if you're Christian or Chaldean, I want to know how you celebrate Easter and why it's so important to you. To do that, if it is important, I hope it is, should be. We should all be proud of the diversity in the Arab world and what's important to all of us. We're broadcasting and streaming live on the U.S. Arab Radio Network on Facebook, so you can watch this later after the show. I did a little promo, so make sure that you don't confuse the little promo with the actual live radio show. We did the promo on Facebook to kind of get people ready for the program. Michigan's Governor Gretchen Winter Whitmer, I always mess up her name, Gretchen Whitmer, introduced two resolutions. One was for Arab Heritage Month, and one was for Chaldean Heritage Month, both in April. Because I know Chaldeans don't consider themselves April, although culturally they share Arab culture, they speak Arabic. Chaldeans are such an important community, but I know that they're often taken for granted. And they've been in the news last month, 20 years after President Bush invaded Iraq. They took out the tyrant, Saddam Hussein. But what has happened to Iraq? It's a disaster. You know, we love to go to war, the United States, but we really don't pay attention to after war, how we fix things, because we really did not fix things in Iraq after we left there. We left it a mess. And today it is a disaster. So I'd love to hear you call and tell me what you think about what's happening in Iraq. There also, I just want to point out, I don't know if you've been following the news, but, you know, Iraqi Chaldeans play a big role in the news, and I bet you didn't know this. I wrote this for the Arab News. Alina Habba, who, by the way, I wonder if she's related to our friend Jerry Habba, who always calls in during the radio show. Alina Habba is from Summit, New Jersey. She is a Chaldean Catholic who fled Iraq in the 1980s with her family. And she is one of President Donald Trump's top lawyers. She's representing Trump in this. I think it's really political. Now, I don't know. I can't vote for Trump this next time, and I can't vote for Joe Biden. So I'm going to have a problem. And part of the reason why I can't vote for Biden, even though he's now the president, when he runs for re-election, is that I think he's weak. He's not strong. And I think his weak presidency has opened the door to aggressiveness from Russia. I think Russia invaded Ukraine specifically because they believed that the U.S. was weak. And now the Chinese are rattling their saber, and they've invaded politically and diplomatically the Middle East with Iran. I think this is really worrisome for us. And I think part of the problem is we don't have a tough leader, sane, smart, tough leader. And in my opinion, that excludes Joe Biden, and it also includes Donald Trump. Let's go to the phone lines at 248-557-3300. And I urge you to call 248-557-3300 and talk about Arab Christians and Chaldeans of the Middle East. Let's welcome our friend, Jerry Habba. Jerry, I was just talking about Alina Habba. Is Habba a very common name, or is she a cousin of yours?
Good morning to you, Mr. Ray Hanania, first, and thank you for taking my call.
Of course, Jerry.
Ray Hanania, Alina Habba, indeed, her last name, exactly my last name, H-A-B-B-A. But I did some research, because a lot of friends like you, Mr. Ray, they wonder, who is Alina Habba? Is she related to Jerry Habba? No, she is not, Mr. Ray, but she is actually background. Her parents, they were immigrated from the north of Iraq, the city of Mosul, or a province. Mm-hmm. And they were immigrated here a long time ago. So Alina, she's like maybe second, third generation, and she's a good-looking woman. I wish if she was my cousin.
I'll tell you, she's a good lawyer. She has a tough job on her hand because Donald Trump doesn't make it easy to defend him. He says so many stupid things sometimes. He has some great ideas, but he just can't control himself and keep himself out of controversy. He likes to always fight with people. But yeah, she has, when I saw her name, I said, hey, Alina Habba? Jerry Habba. I know that guy. He's one of our friends. I got to look him up and look Alina up, and I sure did. I looked her up. They live in, her parents actually immigrated, you're right, from northern Iraq. But that was in the 80s. Her parents came to the U.S. In the 1980s because they felt that there was this persecution of Chaldeans and Christians from the Middle East. Her father is Saad Haba, and he's a doctor, like a lot of the people from the Middle East who came to this country.
Oh,
Yeah, and she is lived and born in New Jersey. Very smart attorney. So, whenever the Arabs are on the front lines of U.S. news, I always try to put a spotlight on them. There's a story in the Arab news.
Ray.
If you look it up, you'll see it.
Mr. Ray, you did have, you put on your show, on your plate, a lot of things about the Arab, the month of Arab heritage.
Right.
Yes, indeed. The Chaldean people, they do have a month they celebrate.
Yeah.
A lot of activities, like a lot of dancing, music, debki, and of course, all your favorite food, like dolma, like a grape leaf, shish kebab, all those beautiful Middle Eastern healthy food. And I don't want to make you hungry, but that's the truth.
Yeah. No, I tell you, Jerry, I'm on a diet. I've been on a diet for the past month, and I've lost like 22 pounds. So I'm going to keep losing. I'm going to get back to my weight when I was 30 years old. You think I could do that?
But even
I'm on my way. I'm almost there.
I was 185.
That's what I'm going to be. That's my goal.
3 years ago, but now I'm 220, Mr. Ray.
Yeah, actually, I'm like 218 now. So I'm getting down there.
Sometimes, Mr. Ray, when you eat, you don't have a schedule for breakfast or lunch or dinner. You all try to combine all those 3 meals in one meal, and that's wrong. Sometimes I don't like to have a breakfast or lunch, so I just wait till the evening, Mr. Ray, and I get all the 3 meals, 3 in 1, and this is wrong. We should eat in a scheduled time, and that's the problem with my diet, Mr. Ray.
Yeah, actually, Jerry, you should be eating in the morning and not eating at night. Eating at night actually puts on the weight. But listen, let me ask you a question. Do the Chaldeans celebrate traditional Easter last Sunday, or do they celebrate Orthodox Easter, which is this Sunday?
Yeah, Chaldean people a long time ago, Mr. Ray, about a century ago, they were with the Orthodox Eastern Church. But after that, they joined Rome, the Vatican, as a Catholic. So we celebrated last Sunday.
I got it.
Like Christmas, we celebrated Christmas the 25th of December from every year.
Right.
The Orthodox people celebrated in January 6th after the Catholic people. And, the funny things about Easter, Mr. Ray, that day I was talking to a lady, and she is Christian, celebrated her Easter this coming Sunday. But the question we ask each other, okay, some Christians celebrated last Sunday, another Christian they got, and of course there is a Good Friday where they crucify Jesus Christ.
Right. Today for Orthodox, that's today.
Yeah, I said to her, poor Jesus, because a Christian, they are divided, they celebrate it in 2 different times. So that means Jesus will be crucified one Friday from last week. He will be crucified again. Today is a Friday. So he'll be crucified twice.
That's true.
Jesus,
And let me ask you, Jerry, in a traditional Arab Christian household for Easter, they, I know the Orthodox dye their eggs red. But a lot of Christian Arabs, Catholics and Protestants, as you point out, celebrate traditional Easter. Do you do the egg cracking? Do you crack eggs with your family?
Oh, absolutely. Without cracking the eggs, it's no fun, Mr. Ray.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, I was invited for family, Easter. And matter of fact, dyeing the eggs, Mr. Ray, my mom from my great mother, they do not use a chemical to dye their eggs. They were using organic. You know the leaves of a dry yellow leaves from the onion?
Uh-huh.
My mom,
Yes.
she learned that they
Yes.
dye the eggs when they boil the water. They put all those dry onion leaves with the eggs, and you see the color
Turn red.
red.
Yes.
And it is not artificial. It is natural from the
My
leaves.
mother used to
of the
do the
onion.
same thing. My mother used to do the same thing. She'd strip the skin
and
off the onions, put them in water and boil them, and it would create a red dot, liquid that they dip the eggs in. I don't know if she added anything to it because it's a deep
No.
red, but that onion skin, when you boil it, the water turns a deep red. It's really interesting.
Deep red, and they look good, Mr. Ray.
Yes.
They look good. Plus, Mr. Ray, you know, children, they love those eggs. And, you know, to peel that eggs when the shell is made from organic leaves, so even it is healthy, it does not bring any chemical to those children when they eat the eggs, because dyeing eggs with chemical, the one that you buy it over the shelf, that's no good, Mr. Ray.
Into the egg.
All chemical. But,
Jerry, listen, thank
Mr.
you. Listen, thank you, Jerry. I'm really happy that you called in. And Gretchen Whitmer, the governor of Michigan, you got to give her credit for recognizing the Chaldean community, right?
Yeah, we appreciate it, Mr. Ray. But you know, Mr. Ray, me as a Chaldean, I'm proud. But you come to it, Mr. Ray, we are melted with the Arab community.
Yes,
That's
we
why
are.
I don't like the word MENA. MENA, I don't like it.
I don't either.
We write our name. I just want to register it as a Middle Eastern from the Arab countries, as a Chaldean. But
Right.
MENA is all North Africa, like
Right.
Egypt, Tunisia, Morocco. No, I like just to be called Arab from the Middle East. And for me, I have the freedom to choose. I'm a Chaldean.
Yeah, I think we should they should designate Arab or Chaldean or even Assyrian. Why not? They do this for everybody else. Why don't they do it for us? And I'll tell you why, because our leaders are weak in the Arab community. They're weak because they think they can't get it passed unless they include everybody in this MENA category. Asians, they're including everybody from North Africa. You know, North Africa is already included on the census. It's Arabs. You don't see Chaldean. You don't see Assyrian. We got to change that. Jerry, I got to let you go because we got to take a quick break. I'm really going long, all right?
Mr. Ray, thank you for taking my call, and have a nice day, and happy all the good holidays for Jewish, Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, Subbi, Sabi, Imandai. Thank you, Mr. Ray. God bless you. God bless America. And thank you to Mike Shipka, the producer.
All right. That's our buddy, Jerry Haba, who's calling in, who's a distant relative, very distant. Alina Haba is one of the top lawyers for President Donald Trump. I'm Ray Hanania here at WNZK AM 690 radio broadcasting, Radio Baladi. We're talking about Chaldeans. We're talking about Christian Arabs. We're talking about the census. Our number is 248-557-3300, 248-557-3300. I want you to call in and tell me how you celebrate Easter. And again, that's not to say that we don't respect and love our Muslim brothers and sisters. Ramadan Kareem to them. It is Ramadan and we respect them, but it's also a very important time for Christian Arabs and Chaldeans and Assyrians. And we need to acknowledge that. And I think it's great that the governor of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer, not only passed a resolution for Arab American Heritage Month, but she also passed a resolution for Chaldean Heritage Month, which I think when I'm done here, I'm going to write a story about it for the Arab News. I'm Ray Hanania. Remember, call 557-3300. I want to hear what you have to say about all these topics. We'll be right back right after these messages.
Were you recently at the emergency room, urgent care, or at your doctor's office being told you need a hand, wrist, or elbow specialist? At the Chaldean Hand Center, we offer the latest techniques in hand, wrist, and elbow care. From sports injuries to work injuries to everyday hand, wrist, and elbow problems, the specialists at Chaldean Hand Center are here to get you back on track. Call us in Troy today at 248-869-4263 or visit us at chaldeanhandcenter.com to schedule your appointment today.
Ziyad brand, quality products from our family to yours. Ziyad Brothers Importing offers the finest quality products, including brands like Sultan, Kraft, Nestle, Hook, Rico Picon, Donna, and many more. Ask your retailer to carry these fine products because you deserve the very best. For more information, visit our website at www.ziyad.com. That's www.ziyad.com. Ziyad, quality products from our family to yours.
When you're looking for the best in optical care, Dr. Imad Nakash is your doctor to see. With years of experience and thousands of successful procedures performed, you can trust your eyes to Dr. Imad Nakash. See Dr. Imad Nakash and his professional staff for your eye care needs. There's 2 locations to serve you. In Hazel Park, call 248-336-3937. 248-336-3937. In Rochester Hills, call 248-299-3937. That's 248-299-3937.
Kashat's Mediterranean Market in Shish Kebab offers a great array of your favorite Mediterranean meals. Meals range from lamb specialties, shawarma sandwiches, and seafood dinners. Plus, they offer big trays of your favorite food and so much more. Kashat's Mediterranean Market in Shish Kebab is located at 32839 Northwestern Highway in Farmington Hills and is open from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. So stop in or call Kashat's today at 248-538-9552. That number again, 248-538-9552. Kashat's Mediterranean Market in Shish Kebab will definitely leave you satisfied.
And welcome back to Radio Baladi. I'm Ray Hanania, your host, and I'm here every second Friday of every month. And in addition to that, pretty soon I'll be relaunching the 3rd season of the Ray Hanania radio show, sponsored by Arab News, right here on WNZK AM 690. We're very lucky as Arabs to have the U.S. Arab Radio Network, which is put together by Layla El-Husseini, a journalist from Syria, who's done so much to give Arabs and Muslims and people from the Middle East a voice, a place where they can share their opinions and share their stories. Jerry Haba, who called earlier, we're talking about Orthodox Easter, which is this Sunday. Traditional Easter for Catholics and Protestants was last Sunday. Today is Good Friday for the Orthodox Christians. Arab and many Chaldeans still celebrate Orthodox Easter. It's an important holiday, and we were talking about how, in the Christian families, they dye their eggs, the Orthodox Christians from the Middle East, the Arabs and the Chaldeans, and even the Assyrians, many of them, they would dye their eggs red to acknowledge what happened for Easter to Jesus. And they do that by boiling onion leaves, the skin of the onion. You take the skin off the onion, and maybe from about 20 different onions. I remember watching my mom do it. Jerry Hubba reminded me of that when he called in, because that was a way to get an organic color on your egg rather than buying these chemical dyes that they sell at the grocery store and retail stores for an enormous amount of money. I mean, the price of things have gone up because of COVID and the greed of so many big businesses and corporations. But just remembering that, I remember you see the pot of boiling water with the onion leaves, and it would slowly turn a deep red, and then we'd let it sit, and then we dip the eggs in it, and you get a nice red color on the eggs. It's really I got to thank Jerry for reminding me about that. I'd almost forgotten the way my mother did it. Many, many years ago, she was from Bethlehem, and Easter was a very important holiday. My cousin is the pastor of the Church of the Nativity, and I have a big family that lives in the occupied West Bank. And by the way, the head of the Roman Catholic Church, this is a good time to mention this, I guess, warns that Benjamin Netanyahu's far-right government, these are extremist fanatics. They're not just attacking the Muslims and Al-Aqsa, the Al-Aqsa Mosque, a very important mosque, and the Haram al-Sharif, the Dome of the Rock. They're also attacking the Christian churches because these fanatics, I don't even want to call them Jewish, these are Israeli extremist Zionist fanatics who hate Christians, who hate Muslims. They even hate Jews who stand up for human rights. They're trying to destroy the Mount of Olives and destroy its Christian character. They're destroying Christian churches. And the head of the Roman Catholic Church, the Latin Patriarch Hazabala, said that the region's 2,000-year-old Christian community has come under increasing attack, with Israel's most right-wing government empowering the extremists who are harassing the clergy. They're harassing Christian priests. They're harassing the nuns. They're vandalizing religious property, and nobody seems to care. They're trying to keep it quiet because if they don't report it, then they believe it didn't happen. So the Israelis are concerned about it because, one day the Christians in the United States will wake up from their slumber and realize that the Christians of the Middle East are being persecuted by the very government that they support in Tel Aviv, Israel's government. And it is the worst, most extremist government. It is more extreme than the Iranian government, which is nuts. But of course, we only criticize the Iranians. We don't criticize Israel here in the United States because they've done such a great job of silencing the voices of Arabs and people who stand up for human rights and justice and freedom and fairness. We need to change that. And one way we change it is by having programs like this where we can talk about these issues, because you can pick up your paper, you will rarely see a story about how Israel is destroying Christian iconic churches and damaging and vandalizing them, how they're destroying Christian cemeteries. This right-wing extremist government in Israel, it needs to stop. It's been getting so far to the right, it's destructive. And Christian Americans who need to stand with their Christian brothers and sisters in the Middle East and speak out against this extremist government of Benjamin Netanyahu. He's a horrible person. His people, his colleagues on the Knesset that run the government, Itamar Ben-Gvir, the national security minister, this other racist, Smotrich Bezalel, Smotrich, he's the the finance minister. And I'm telling you, they're crazy and they don't like Christians or Muslims. So they're not just targeting the Muslims, people, they're targeting the Christian Arabs, and American Christians need to know that. We're going to take another quick break, but I hope you'll take a minute to dial in if you are Chaldean or Arab. This is Arab American Heritage Month in April, and 45 U.S. states recognize Arab Heritage Month as a national holiday in April. But that means that there are 5 states that do not. So we have a long way to go. I wrote about that in Arab News. If you go to arabnews.com and look up my story, you'll get some background information on that. But we need to stand up and speak out about our interests. And one of the ones, and I credit the Chaldean community, because in Michigan, I think is the only state that actually passed the resolution recognizing April as Chaldean Heritage Month, because the Chaldeans and the Arabs are very close. Culturally, the language is the same, the cultural is the same, the foods, everything is the same, but Chaldeans are not Arab. and they don't want to be identified as Arab. And I respect that. They don't have to be. But I'm an Arab, I'm a Christian Arab, and I say that with pure respect for Chaldeans. Their rights need to be recognized, and more needs to be reported on them. The community needs to be more active, and Americans need to understand the truth about the Middle East. There's a big Arab Christian population there, and there's a big Christian Chaldean population there. There's also an Assyrian population. We're going to take a break, but I'll urge you to call 248 and join the conversation this morning, 248-557-3300. Tell me how you celebrate Easter as a Chaldean or a Christian Arab. Do you celebrate traditional Easter, which was last Sunday, or are you celebrating the Orthodox Easter, which is this Sunday? And what do you do? Jerry Haba, who is a Chaldean and a longtime listener of our radio show, reminded me about how Christian Arabs and Christians from the Middle East will peel the outer skin of the onion and boil it to create that red coloring that they use for their eggs. 248-557-3300. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk some more about this and hopefully take your calls. Call in, empower yourselves, give yourself a voice. 248-557-3300. We're going to be right back right after these messages.
With more than 30,000 successful in vitro fertilizations, IVF Michigan is now ranked as one of America's best fertility clinics, according to Newsweek magazine. IVF Michigan fertility centers are the recognized leaders in high-quality fertility care. With locations in Bloomfield Hills and 9 other cities in Michigan and Ohio, IVF has experts in all aspects of the field. A founding member, American board-certified Dr. Nicholas Shama, is one of the leading reproductive endocrinologists in Michigan and Ohio. He has performed over 20,000 successful IVF cases, and it's helped thousands of couples fulfill their dreams of parenthood. When it's time to get personalized care from Dr. Nicholas Shama at one of America's best fertility clinics, call IVF Michigan Fertility Centers in Michigan and Ohio toll-free at 855-952-9600. 855-952-9600. Life for Relief and Development has now been rated as one of the best charities for humanitarian aid. Life's humanitarian projects span the globe, and Life is celebrating its 30th anniversary of providing essential life-saving aid to people and communities in 36 countries, regardless of race, color, religion, or cultural background. Where there is life, there is hope. And when disaster occurs here or around the world, including being one of the first responders to the Turkey-Syria earthquake crisis, Life for Relief and Development rushes in to provide food, medical aid, and shelter to those in need. We are looking to help the earthquake victims, and we take 0% overhead on emergency donations. So please help improve these efforts. Learn more about our involvement to help the helpless and bring hope where it's needed most, and make your tax-deductible donation to Life for Relief and Development now at lifeusa.org or call 248-424-7493. That's 248-424-7493. At Top Rehab Physical Therapy Clinic in Dearborn, we provide effective physical therapy sessions in order to limit pain and discomfort. Top Rehab provides physical therapy care for any diagnosis prescribed by a physician, and we regularly see and treat conditions such as stroke, TMJ, fibromyalgia, sciatica, joint pain, and more. We use a variety of pain management methods, including modalities, soft tissue mobilization, and therapeutic exercise. If you're in need of physical rehabilitation or physical therapy, get the highest quality health care at Top Rehab. Most insurance is accepted, and we're open Monday, Wednesday, and Friday 8 to 6, Tuesday and Thursday 8 to 5, and Saturday 10 till 2. Call for an appointment today at 313-846-0555. That's 313-846-0555. Choose Top Rehab Physical Therapy Clinic on Michigan Avenue in Dearborn. Life's too short to be in pain.
And welcome back to Radio Bellady. I am Ray Hanania. It is April 14, Friday. I'm here every second Friday of every month, and soon I'll also be relaunching the 3rd season of the Ray Hanania radio show, which is on Wednesday night here on WNZK AM 690 radio. Thanks to the support of Layla El Husseini, a award-winning recognized journalist who single-handedly, I mean, it's amazing what she's done. And we're going to be talking about her later on too, during some of the future shows that I'll be hosting about her life in journalism. She's got so many awards and recognitions internationally. And she gives a voice, not just, she's Muslim, but not just a Muslim. She gives a voice to everybody, Christians, Muslims, and even Jews, people who support peace. And I'll tell you, that's one of the few places where you can learn about Christians of the Arab world. It's one of the few places, and she's empowered Arab Christians and Chaldeans who are Christians from the Middle East. And this is our holiday week. Last Sunday was traditional Easter, and the Orthodox Easter will be celebrated this Sunday. Many Chaldeans, I guess they're split, a lot of Chaldeans. I'd love to hear how you as a Chaldean celebrate Easter. Do you celebrate traditional Easter, or do you continue with the old calendar and celebrate Orthodox Easter, which is this Sunday? And if you do, that means today is Orthodox Good Friday, which is such an important date to every Christian. I want you to call in if you can, 248-557-3300, 248-557-3300. Share with us how you celebrate Easter as a Christian from the Middle East, Chaldean, Arab Christian, or Chaldean. There are a lot of other Orthodox groups. There's the Coptic, Egyptian Christians, very Orthodox. They're huge. There are millions of them. Egypt has a large Christian Coptic community that goes back many thousands of years. And there's also the Assyrian Christians who are basically from Syria, but in the Syrian region, from what used to be Assyria. And they still talk about it. There's so many Orthodox groups, and I would love to hear from you if you celebrate Orthodox Christmas and Easter and many of the Orthodox holidays that are different from the traditional calendar. Christmas is like Easter for the Orthodox and Middle East Christians. The Orthodox Christians celebrate Christmas a week after traditional Christmas, and they do that in January. I'd love to find out, how do you deal with that? Do you talk about it? Do you try to keep it a secret, from other people? Because, sometimes, Americans, they're not they are the most educated people in the world, but they're the least educated about the world. They really don't understand the people that they live with, right around them. Some Americans, but I believe that's our fault. We don't do a good enough job of helping Americans to understand who we are. We don't do a good enough job to educate them about us. We allow the media to do that. And the reason we do that is because we want our kids to be doctors and lawyers, or grocery store owners. We really should make them be writers and journalists, because that's the real power in America. Communications is the power. 248-557-3300. Give us a buzz. I'm Ray Hanania. We'll take your call, and I'd love to hear your story, especially if you're Chaldean. I think it's, and I didn't see this until just recently, but the governor of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer, passed a resolution to recognize April as Chaldean Heritage Month, in addition to passing a resolution recognizing Arab American Heritage Month in April. I think that's great that they recognize the Chaldeans. They didn't leave them out. Too often the Chaldeans get pushed aside by the media, because the media has its own priority. One, they focus on Islam and Muslims, often in a very negative way. And then sometimes they focus on Arab Christians, almost always in a negative way. And then occasionally they might write about, and we're talking about the media, the Chaldean community. If you're Chaldean, pick up the phone, 248-557-3300. Don't be shy. Tell me how you celebrate. Do you still use the skins of the onion to create the red dye for the eggs for Orthodox Easter? When my friend Jerry Haba, who's a longtime listener, always, and we're always grateful for him when he calls, But I want to get more people involved, because if we don't stand up as a community, even on light issues like this, then we are not a community. If we don't speak, if we don't talk, if we don't share our lives, Americans can't hear about us. They don't know us, traditional Americans. We have to do a better job of telling the world who we are and sharing our stories. And that's why I became a journalist and a writer. All my cousins are doctors. One of my cousins is Ray Hanania. He was the director of the King Hussein Medical Center in Amman, Jordan. And he was one of the most famous heart surgeons in the Middle East. And he was King Hussein's doctor for a long time. And of course, he was an icon in our family because my mother and father wanted me to be a doctor, just like Dr. Ray Hanania. Of course, I started that way, but I got distracted by the racism and the bigotry and the bias that was directed against Arabs, not just me, but others. And I felt I had to stand up and speak out on behalf of Arabs. And I decided not to be a doctor. I gave up pre-med when I was in college. And after serving during the Vietnam War, I came back and attended the University of Illinois in Chicago and studied political science and writing. And I got hired by my first paper back in 1976. And I've been writing ever since then. One of the things that I've done, I think writing and communications is so important. My son, as you know, my wife and son are Jewish. My son is a great writer, Aaron Hanania. You look him up on TikTok, on Aaron Hanania, Aaron. And you can see some of the fantastic things that he's doing. When he was young, I made him write in a journal. And he is a great communicator. He understands the power of communications. And he does social media for a lot of people, including some Hollywood celebrities like Claudia Wells. I don't know if you remember Claudia Wells. She was a actress in the series, the movie series Back to the Future with Michael J. Fox. She was Michael J. Fox's first girlfriend in the first Back to the Future series. Unfortunately, Claudia Wells, her mother got sick during the movie, and she only had a part, maybe about 15 minutes in the beginning, and she wasn't able to come back. But today she does the circuit all over the United States. People love her because that first impression of Back to the Future was of Claudia Wells and Michael J. Fox, and you just can't forget that. And she's a great actress, and Aaron does a lot of media work for her and got to know her, and she's been helping him meet other Hollywood celebrities to do work. So I'm Ray Hanania. I really would love for you to call. This week is a very important holiday for Christians. It's also an important holiday for our Muslim brothers. Ramadan, this past month, I believe it ends somewhere around April 23rd, maybe in about 10 days. So Ramadan Mubarak to our Muslim friends, Muslims and Christians. We need to stick together, and we need to work with the Jewish community. We need to come together for justice and recognize and respect each other, but we need to come together and do what's right. What's happening in Israel today is horrible. It's the most oppressive time in that country for Christians and Muslims. And not enough is being said. Not enough is being done. Not enough is being engaged to defend the rights of Christians and Muslims in Palestine and in Israel. And we need to do more. 248-557-3300 is our number. You can call in. It's really easy. I'm not going to bite your head off. Even though some of my columns, if you go to my website at hanania.com, suburbanchicagoland.com, or the arabdailynews.com, you can read my columns, which are pretty tough on politics. I don't hold back, but I never lie. I tell you the truth, what I believe. I tell you what I believe. I don't make up things. I don't have to. I just tell you what I believe based on the facts. One of the things that I believe that maybe we'll talk about on a future show is the weakness of our government. Joe Biden is a good person. He's just weak. His administration, Kamala Harris, she's weak. I don't even know what she talks about when she talks. She's so unimpressive. And I'm just worried about this country because the other countries, like these terrorist countries like Russia and China, these are horrible countries, North Korea and Iran, the government of Iran, not the people of Iran, the government of Russia, not the people of Russia, the government of China, not the people of China, and the government of North Korea, not the people of North Korea. These governments are tyrannical terrorist organizations, and they see weakness. They are like wolves, wild wolves. When they sense weakness, they attack. And the one reason why Russia attacked Ukraine was because he could sense that America was weak, being led by a weak leader, a great person. Joe Biden is a great person. I don't always have to agree with somebody, but he really is genuine. He just has a terrible administration. The State Department is a disaster. It's just, they're ineffective. They're not carrying the message of strength. So the Russians see us as weak, so they attack Ukraine. The Chinese see us as weak, so they start threatening to attack Taiwan and that they'll attack the US. They start talking about war. And once you get into a conversation about war, what's the next step? It's war. And the Iranians, the government of Iran, not the people of Iran, the Iranian government, they're terrorist organizations. This Iranian mullah that runs these poor oppressed people in Iran, they're trying to negotiate their way, insinuate their way into the Middle East because America is weak and we need to be strong. We're going to take our last break, and I hope you'll have a second thought and call us at 248-557-3300, 248-557-3300, and talk to us about any of these topics that we're talking about. But most importantly, I'd really like to hear Chaldeans talk about Easter, Orthodox Easter, traditional Easter, how you celebrate. I'm Ray Hanania. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back right after these messages.
يرجى الانتباه إلى أعضاء برنامج ميشيغان ميديكيد وكل المستفيدين من برامج المساعدة الغذائية. قد تؤثر التغييرات التي أجرتها السلطات الفيدرالية على مزايا وتغطية البرامج المقدمة لكم. لمعرفة التغييرات الجديدة وما تعنيه بالنسبة لكم، يرجى زيارة michigan.gov/2023 benefit changes michigan.gov/2023 benefit changes. هذا الإعلان برعاية وزارة الصحة والخدمات الإنسانية في ميشيغان ورابطة ميشيغان للمذيعين.
في الشتاء نقضي معظم أوقاتنا في الأماكن المغلقة مع كثير من الناس، سواء كان ذلك لتشجيع الفريق الرياضي المفضل أو الاحتفال مع العائلة والأصدقاء أو السفر لقضاء عطلة بعيدة. ساعد في حماية نفسك وعائلتك والآخرين في المجتمع لتستمتع بشتاء آمن. حافظ على تلقي أحدث جرعة من لقاح كوفيد-19 والإنفلونزا. لمعرفة المزيد يرجى زيارة michigan.gov/covid-vaccine. رسالة من وزارة الصحة والخدمات الإنسانية في ولاية ميشيغان.
Get ready for an amazing experience at Ishtar Restaurant on 15 Mile Road in Sterling Heights. Enjoy excellent hospitality from owners Ali Al-Baghdadi and Fatty Bottom, serving the best in Mediterranean food. Try Chef Ali Al-Baghdadi's famous shawarma, the best Iraqi grills and food, and the best Arabic and international dishes. Dine in our authentic atmosphere or take out. Call 586-698-2585 or check us out on Facebook. Ishtar Restaurant practices all CDC guidelines and is open every day, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Have an amazing experience today at Ishtar Restaurant, 3625 15 Mile Road, Sterling Heights.
Are you going to start a restaurant or a grocery store soon? Do you need floor plans and designs? Call Naji Abood at 734-744-9796. Do you want to buy kitchen and restaurant equipment at discount prices? Call Naji Abood now, 734-744-9796. New Concept Products and Design, the trademark of kitchen equipment. 5% discount on all purchases of $75,000 or more. New Concept Products and Design, new location, 31-185 Schoolcraft in Livonia. Learn more at www.newconceptproducts.com. Call Najee Abood 734-744-9796.
And welcome back to Radio Bellady. I'm Ray Hanania. It is April 14th. We're in the middle of the Easter season. For Christians, it's a big deal. Traditional Christians celebrate Easter last Sunday, and Orthodox Christians celebrate Good Friday today and Easter this Sunday. I wish everybody a happy Easter, those that celebrate or even those that celebrated, because even though Easter passes, it's an important event in the lives of every Christian, and especially those in the Middle East where Christianity originated. A lot of Americans don't even understand that. But also I want to wish our Muslim friends Ramadan Kareem, because Muslims and Christians, we stand together for what's right. We represent and we fight for each other. And the reason we do is because we do it for the right reasons. We're good people. The people of the Middle East are good people, the true people of the Middle East. And we stand up against oppression, including from the government of Israel. Today's government is an extremist government which hates the Christians and hates the Muslims. They're destroying and attacking our religious sites, and nobody's doing anything about it. Nobody in this country is speaking up. The Christians, the mainstream Christians in America, they're in la-la land. They have no idea what's going on. They don't understand that the fundamental heritage of their religion is being destroyed, wiped out by these Zionist, crazy, far right-wing extremists under Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel. It's a horrible government. They're destroying the Al-Aqsa Mosque. Where is the outcry? Where is the protest as they do that? I'm shocked. I especially from the Muslim community, I expected more. There are a billion Muslims, and it's almost like there are none. You can barely hear any whimpers against what Israel's doing. And it's the same in the Christian world. The Christians, the majority of Christians who are non-Middle Eastern, have no idea and have forgotten about their Middle Eastern roots coming from Palestine. And they don't care that the extremist Israelis are destroying Christian icons, the Mount of Olives, the Christian cemeteries, the Christian churches. They're targeting, they're destroying them. We need to speak up and make them stop. That's one reason why I'm so proud I got into journalism. I could have been a doctor. I think I would have made a good doctor because a lot of my relatives are great doctors. But I really believe that the real power in America is communications, and you need to communicate. But you can't have that power if you don't have your own community stand up with you. You can sit there and you can fight and you can argue and you can say everything, but if the community is not behind you, if the community doesn't support you, if the community is not engaged, then the entire effort is lost, not just for me, but for the community, because me and others, we're just voices to fight for the rights of our community. And if we can't fight for the rights of our community, then the community loses. I don't lose. I lose as a member of the community, but the community loses, and we need to do stuff. If you want to call in, well, actually, we only have a few minutes, but 248-557-3300. We need to empower our voices. And this radio station is one of the most important. I think it's taken for granted by a lot of people, and it shouldn't be. It's an important voice in the Arab community, in the Muslim and Christian community, and even in the Jewish community, the progressive Jewish community, people in the Jewish community who stand up for what's right and who are defending Arabs against this government in Israel that claims to represent the Jewish people. This government doesn't represent in Israel the Jewish people. They represent a fanaticism and extremism which could destroy the Jewish people, and is certainly already trying to destroy Muslims and Christians. So you want to follow me. I have a e-newsletter. You go to hanania.com, Hanania, hanania.com. You can subscribe if you want. I mean, maybe you don't care, you just go on your daily life. But I'll tell you, I love being Arab. I love growing up Arab. I remember I rejoice in the memories of being Arab as a young Arab child. I remember, and thanks to Jerry Haba, one of our callers, reminding me, watching my mother at Easter peel the skin off the onions, put them in the pot of boiling water, and to create the red dye, the organic, safe, and healthy red dye. And then they would dye the eggs for Easter, Orthodox Easter, red. All of them were red. Today, you go to the store for traditional Easter, which was last Sunday, and you buy the chemical dye that you put on the egg. And I know you crack, those eggs crack when you're boiling them, and you could see a lot of that chemical dye seep into the egg. And I think Jerry was very smart to point out that it's not healthy. You know, that the Arab Chaldean way of doing it was very healthy. It's a natural, organic way. And I think we should thank, in Illinois, they passed a law recognizing Arab American Heritage Month. It isn't just a resolution that they have to pass. It's a law in Illinois that April is Arab American Heritage Month. And I was proud to be part of the coalition that fought to get that passed. They can't take it away from us. It's a law. I wish they'd do that in all the states. Only 45 American states recognize Arab American Heritage Month in April, and only one recognizes Chaldean Heritage Month in April, and that's the state of Michigan and Governor Gretchen Whitmer. So we should thank her. I'm going to try, I think I may do a story on that because I haven't seen anybody write about that at all. It's almost as if the Chaldeans are ignored and the Arabs are ignored and Muslims are ignored. We're all being ignored at different levels, and we need to do something about it. We need to change it. That means we need to support each other. We need to network. We need to help each other. We need to work with each other. Even if we disagree about certain things, disagreement is only one or two things. You know, you can't agree with anybody 100%. You agree with them. If you agree with them 70%, that's a lot. But anyway, I wish you a happy Easter, Orthodox Easter. I wish my Muslim friends Ramadan Kareem. I hope they have a wonderful end of the Ramadan. I know that it's such an important event every year. More and more Americans are learning about Ramadan, and it's so nice to see American officials join with Muslims at iftars at sunset to celebrate. And then at the end of Ramadan, the Eid al-Fitr, when they celebrate the end of Ramadan, it'll really be something. And of course, I'm not a Muslim expert, but I try to learn as much as I can about the Muslim community because it's a matter of respect. So please visit my website at hanania.com, Hanania. Tell me share your stories. I would love to hear about it, and let's stay connected. And don't forget, support Layla Al-Husseini here at WNZK AM 690 Radio, because this is the only voice for Arabs, for Chaldeans, for Muslims, for people of the Middle East to find out what's going on. Thank you again. I'm Ray Hanania. Have a great week. We will talk to you later. Thanks everybody at the studio for helping us with this program. Bye-bye, everybody. Have a great time. Bye-bye.